Superman.
Miss Lane.
This is the first post-Trump movie, and I know that Hollywood in general trends liberal and is a liberal sort of aspect of the establishment, but I don't think you would make this Superman trailer pre-Trump. This is the first post-Trump superhero. Listen to how this guy's talking. Might as well have been Super Trump.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
So James Gunn's Guardian of the Galaxy, so he's like injected sort of like comedy and humour into the Marvel franchise. Even though the Marvel franchise was always pretty funny, James Gunn was the person that was sort of credited with like really, like that was a surprise hit. The Guardians of the Galaxy had no business being as big a hit as it was, even though I suppose it's sort of massive. So is he going to be able to invest a DC project with that same amount of zeal, humour and enthusiasm? Note already the dynamic is a female journalist taking a powerful man to task. These are dynamics that have emerged in the last 20, 30 years. That's a sort of a very recognisable dynamic.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Interesting reference, because what year is this? So is it set in the 1980s? Like Walter Cronkite, do you guys all still know who that is?
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some
it's
might...
a lot of fire.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe, I did.
That's when I start to think Trump. Not maybe, I did. That's not the liberal Superman of previous incarnations. We've not gone for a dark gothic version of Superman or sort of a monochrome noirish Superman. This is vivid and lurid, but a Superman that's being forced to live in a more complex world. I always found Superman a difficult superhero precisely because of his infallibility, other than with Kryptonite and General Zod and all that stuff. Whereas Batman's flawed, Spider-Man hated, Hulk tortured, Iron Man self-made. Like a lot of other superheroes have different dimensions to him. Like Superman he's Jesus, isn't he, really?
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
Also, that's a liberal perspective, isn't it? That's a liberal perspective versus a conservative. We did what we had to do. Big Daddy is dead. Like versus like you illegally entered a country.
Superman? Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me and doing good.
I think these days, if you show a tower falling over in a movie, that's such a sort of potent piece of American iconography. I don't know if you've ever looked at the number of skyscrapers collapsing in and around, and importantly, prior to 9/11, it was almost like a cultural moment where the image of falling towers and decimation of cities became very prominent and popular right before that literally actually happened. Like, you know, with the Tower of Babel is an image that's sort of redolent and resonant for all humankind. The image of the tower is of course, it's priapic and it's phallic. Also, it's man's power can ascend and transcend the limits of nature. I guess masonry is why stonemasons and Masonic culture are important, because they're the first people that managed to manipulate and maneuver and build and create spaces that were beyond shelter. They were actually, now we're making permanent incursions into the natural world.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Oh, he's supposed to look at that person's butt. That was framing that person's butt, wasn't it?
Your choices, your actions, that's what makes you who you are. Superman.
He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Lot going on, looks pretty amazing. A lot of enemies. Who's that Godzilla one? Who's this teenage Lex Luthor? Lad out of About Boys, Lex Luthor. Young Magneto, no, young Beast as a baddie. Lot for Superman to contend with there. I would say this Superman looks like an essay on American power in the post-Trump age. What is masculinity? What is militarism? What is power itself? I noticed in the first trailer they made that dog more prominent. They've like moved that dog to the periphery because people aren't ready for the ridiculousness. I reckon what you'll get is a very humorous take on superheroes at a time where people are uncertain about what they want from the powerful. That's just based on the trailer. But is Superman, James Gunn's Superman, the first post-Trump superhero movie that knows it has to reach out to the MAGA movement and the Trump bros? Can't be one of those kind of Marvel liberal movies that take a very particular and potentially pejorative position when it comes to right-wing politics. Curious. That's why I think, though. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. This will clear your butt out quick, fast. This is a coffee that believes in revolution. If the founding fathers were here today, they'd be drinking this. Alexander Hamilton would be sipping on this stuff. Dear Thomas Jefferson, he'd be downing this. And as for Sam Adams, I reckon he'd be snorting hard lines of it. And at the moment, 1775 Coffee have got a fantastic new deal. They're giving away free starter kits, free bags of coffee, 2 16 ounces of your choice, and the longevity brand infused with CA-AKG, the clinically studied compound that actually helps reduce your biological age. And the deal is simple. You pay the cost of 2 bags of coffee and $17.75 takes care of the rest. That includes the 3rd bag and the gear. This sounds like drugs. Matte black tumbler, a frother, gold scoop, reusable K-cup filter. Go to 1775coffee.com/brand and get your free starter kit and caffeinate your soul before someone in a boardroom pulls the plug. Do you know when I was a kid, when I used to draw the Superman logo, I didn't know that it was a yellow S on a red background. I tried to draw the red bits, but not knowing that it was an S. So I drew the negative space, as it were, so if it's because it's an S, isn't it? Like in a shape, right? But the S leaves in its borders, As you can see here, I used to try and draw that bit and that bit and that bit. I used to draw those bits as if it wasn't, I didn't know that there was an S in the middle.
And that's when you knew you were a genius.
I see the world differently than you. Give me a podcast. Hey, Isaac, you're a nerd. What do you think about it?
I loved it.
Well done, succinct.
Well, you know why James Gunn is directing it, right?
What do you think about Gaza?
Well, you know why James Gunn is directing it, right? Well, he was ousted by Marvel because he got canceled for some Twitter posts that he made back in the day, and they took him off of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then when people basically went up in a riot over that, they asked him to come back. So he did Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but then he did the Suicide Squad, the second one. And
is that good? The one with the shark head?
Yes, the second one was really good. The first one was garbage. So the second one was really good, and they basically had him head up the entire DC cinematic universe and took out Zack Snyder, who did the first couple Superman movies.
Yeah.
So that's why now he's doing all of the DC stuff.
Well, it's good. It keeps it light.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have Massey, you're going to watch it.
I've kind of gone a bit off superhero movies, but I thought that one was interesting. You say it seems like maybe a bit more right wing. In it, they said Superman, he's not a man, he's an it. And that's pointing to the fact that he's an alien, but he looks like a man, and yet we're all calling him man. So is this going to be like some backdoor, transgender debate going on? Is Superman a man, isn't he? Well, he looks like a man, but he's an alien. Therefore, that kind of stuff.
It's Superman. It's Conclave Superman. It's Conclave Superman. What if the Pope got a dickie and a vagina? Yeah, why not, man? It's super hermaphrodite. What are you saying, Luke?
I'm gonna go see it, but if I'm honest with you, I feel like the guy that they picked to play Superman, I feel like the guy that's playing, I don't know, is that young Lex Luthor or whoever, they all kind of look like goons. Like, I feel like the casting kind of sucked here. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like the casting sucked.
Wrong.
Do you know who I want is Jesus, Viggo Mortensen. I watched Lord of the Rings again lately. That guy should have played Jesus. He's beaming Christ energy throughout Lord of the Rings. He's arrogant. That's what I want. And totally. Superman, yeah, he's got good Jesus vibes. And
he looks like Jesus.
He looks like Jesus. Do you want Jesus vibes from Superman? And Massey, that's pretty interesting what you said, like that you're over superhero movies. Is that because like Marvel just sort of wrung it out with Ant-Mans and Wasps and like too many sort of weird ensemble ones?
I love all the 80s stuff. So like, Batman 1989 was incredible, but then getting into this new, it's like when people were into WWF wrestling back in the day when I was a kid, and then I grew up and people like WWE wrestling. I'm like, you're not like too old for this, because I know what's going to happen at the end of every movie, and I can't go in and watch 30 movies where I know the bad guy's going to lose, the good guy's going to win. I can watch 2 maybe. So I'll watch Batman every now and then, and I'll watch Superman. So I don't know if I'm going to watch this though. It doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about like that James Gunn is a person that reinvests films with a bit of joy without compromising on drama. Because them Guardians of the Galaxy movie, that first one, it was dope, man. The music was fantastic. The cool relationships between people. It's enjoyable. Who don't love Chris Pratt? It's like a lot of cool stuff going on. And Superman, I think, yeah, you've got what I've always found with him as a character is I've always found it difficult to root for someone that's invincible. His invincibility is always a problem, so you have to introduce the fatal flaw and all of that. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a complicated character. It looks better than other versions of it. But I think some of them other ones, like Smallville or whatever. I don't know. I never watched Smallville, but I tuned out after dear old Christopher Reeve. God love him.
Well, the biggest issue that he has is being accepted by the people of Earth, essentially. Which is, I guess, to your point, kind of like the Jesus kind of story, right? Where like people didn't accept him, and
people, Isaac. Or Jews?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at first,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. Yeah, like that is the issue, isn't it? Like what? So you think but I've never seen in other Superman movies, the people have always been foaming at the gash for a bit of Superman.
Not true. In the Man of Steel movie, he was basically put into like the military, confinement at that point where he broke his shackles. He broke the handcuffs to show them that he could just leave whenever he wanted, but he didn't because he wanted them not to be afraid of him.
Yeah, but these modern reboots of Superman. I mean, look about that. I like that square-jawed zigzag kiss curl guy from the comic books. And then do you remember when they used to have him in a TV show? And it was like Bill Haley playing him. It's like just sort of like such an old duffer as Superman, like picking up a truck and stuff. It's weird, isn't it? Because like when you get to this age, you've lived with so many incarnations and iterations of these characters that I don't know, man. I suppose that's what an archetype is. You can use them to convey and carry whatever message you need to. So maybe Massey's right. Maybe this will be super trans.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.